I gotta tell you guys, mine absolutely freaking blown. Okay. Not only what I'm about to show you from what Stephen A. Smith just said, and how he quite possibly may have just torched his entire reputation, his career, committing political, much like Rand Paul did yesterday. Jesus Christ. But this right here, this full arrest report of Carmelo Anthony, a thread, 15 million views so far. And the comments that I've been reading on X and on YouTube has been unreal from the perspective of people trying to justify premeditated murder. Like, come on, you cannot make this okay. And just because he's black, just because you're black and just because he's black, it is not okay. And this one here says, well said, if a white kid had shot and killed this black kid, BLM and Antifa would be burning down the cities. She nailed all of it. I'm not kidding. Up is down. Down is up. People have lost their ever-loving minds. And yeah, if you want to check this out, it's over on X. I'm not going to play it for you. But from the perspective of people having lost their minds, well, I want you guys to take a look at this.
And by the way, he's in a position to do it because he won the popular vote. He won the electoral college vote. He won every swing state. He won both houses of Congress. He's got a majority 6-3 in the Supreme Court. I mean, damn. Americans didn't just give it to him. He took it because he recognized what the left wasn't doing. They were preoccupied with nonsense. You want to ask why Stephen A. Smith felt the need to speak up at the NAB conference? Let me ask y'all this question. We supposed to leave it to Bernie Sanders and AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? We're supposed to leave it with individuals that will tell you that it's perfectly okay to tax 70% of your money? Not that they gave out that number. I'm just speculating because of how socialistic they are in their thinking. We supposed to say that that's okay? Y'all okay with that? You okay with going to work and making $100 and walking home with 30? You sure about that? Are you cool with it? Just tell me. Because these are the kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves. That is why I spoke up.
And so the caption on this post reads, new, this is from Jason Cohen. Stephen A. Smith suggests growing influence of Bernie Sanders and AOC in the Democratic Party fuels his openness to a 2028 bid. And perhaps maybe they're insinuating, implying that Stephen A. Smith would want to run for president in 2028. But he can't, based on such a socialistic view, stance, position, because he makes so much freaking money. And he would be the ideal, quintessential hypocrite. After having signed a 5-year deal with ESPN to $100 million. Which lets him talk more about politics, ironically, but he's setting the stage. And he's building up his cash reserves, his bank account for something, maybe, coming? Maybe. We all know who Stephen A. Smith is. He's not fooling anybody. And he's going to continue to collect that check and secure the bag until their money is all gone, until it's run dry, you know? He's only in it for himself, and fortunately, we never have to worry about him becoming president. I hope.
Immigration, I tell you this right now. See, crazy as it sounds. Outside of the criminals, because we don't need lawless. First of all, lawless Americans should be in jail, and lawless people who ain't Americans should be out of the country. Outside of them, guess what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not throwing anybody out of the country. I'm not deporting anybody. You know what I'm doing? Outside of those criminals, I'm leaving others alone. But the border's shut down. Nobody comes in. Nobody. Until we get our house in order. For at least the first year. Shutting it down. Got a year, got to get our house in order. That's how I look at it.
And here I thought AOC was freaking stupid. Stephen A. Smith literally said, hold my beer.
What do you think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC, and Bernie? I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing with her...
You didn't plan that out. We got her.
Our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
Oh man, the Democrats provide so much in comedic relief, whether it's because of Operation Let Them Speak or folks like John Kennedy here pointing out the obvious. Speaking of Operation Let Them Speak, let's continue on with that trend. And another failed. One of his greatest accomplishments was the epic failure of Tim Walz, that he's not letting just die. He's not letting that die with him and Kamala Harris, his failed campaign. No, he's taking this show on the road, folks.
I think Democrats supporting families, supporting the working class, supporting unions, but I think we have to separate and have a message here. It's okay in America to be successful. We should celebrate that when people are successful. What my beef is, once you get successful, don't be a greedy bastard and not pay your taxes. Don't do that. Pay your taxes and do that. And let those young men who see this, now I would argue this, we're creating a false narrative from them that everybody is super rich and has Lamborghinis and life is easy, but that's what we're going to have to figure out in our society about social media and all those things. But I don't think we should be the party that demonizes someone because they're able to afford something or they're able to work hard and got something. What we should demonize is people like Elon Musk and those people that do that. And that's different. That's different.
Now, we all know how Tim Walz feels about other men. Very loose and fluid relationship status. Previous rumors. We don't know if any of these are actually true or not, whether or not he actually has that identifying birthmark or tattoo that only certain other men know about. But it does seem like he has a freaking hard-on for Elon Musk, right? I mean, you would think as a Democrat sitting here on stage preaching to, I don't know, 30, 32, 33 people. I don't know. Maybe they offer them some sort of free snack or something to attend in this high school auditorium, it looks like. And you would think that they would actually be for and promoting this democracy, this idea of an immigrant that can come to this country and build something, actually become the richest person in the country. But I guess the problem is he's actually legally here. Maybe that's the big issue, the big gripe. But here's the problem. I don't believe a fucking word that Tim Walz says. Well, except for the demonizing part, because I really, truly believe that Democrats want to do that. And all jokes aside, I don't think Stephen A. Smith is a likely possibility. Tim Walz, there's no way he would ever even get the nomination. And AOC, well, she may not be as dumb as I thought, or as she thought, because apparently she is the leader of the Democratic Party. She just doesn't know it yet. And in fact, they're using people like Stephen A. Smith, like Tim Walz, and our favorite, Jasmine Crockett, to make them look as dumb as humanly possible to make AOC seem smarter.
Looking back, and I said before, the Democrats have taken a lot of beatings. They have lost their confidence. They've gone crazy. How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? Is that real? Are they serious about that? That's their new star? If that's their new star, they're in serious trouble. I mean, this is Crockett. Oh man. But we've done.
I know people that have been in church 50 and 60 years who still act like they don't know the Bible. Either they don't read it or they just lean on the pastor to tell them what it says. The way they live their life, and I'm not even talking about blatant sin. I'm talking about not having the tiniest bit of faith. I see this from people who've been in church all their lives. And it's funny to me that they would allow someone like Jasmine Crockett to stand in the pulpit and be disrespectful to people, our ancestors. They are always talking about the ancestors, but then they disrespect them every chance they get. For her to say, we done picking cotton, you never pick cotton. You've never picked cotton unless it's the thread out of the braids that you have so that you can put that fat wig on your head. You've never picked cotton. And I think it's disrespectful when people who've lived very privileged lives start to act as if they were ever slaves, that they were ever whipped or beaten. It's a joke.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
And we have kids now who refuse to read. There was a time when slaves weren't allowed to read. Now they don't even want to read, but we allow them to say things like, we done picking cotton. If I wish that Mama Hannah, that's my great grandmother, could rise, who was actually born in slavery, and I hope I got a little bit of her fire. I wish she could rise from the dead and backhand people like Jasmine Crockett, who were trying to ride off of their hard work. It's disrespectful, but these are the same people that act as if they are fighting in the name of the ancestors. You're not, when you're disrespecting everything that they actually did and went through for us to be where we are today. She's a joke. Bye, Felicia.
Quick show of hands. How many of you think Jasmine Crockett is a joke? Honestly, I don't think I could have said that better myself. Besides that, I want to know what you guys think. I mean, we went and discussed a lot of different topics, all somewhat centered and focused on a common core message. And I hope that this was, if not informative, at least entertaining at the very least. But you've got value out of this. If you like the video, like the video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Our last video did really well, and the channel is nearing 218,000 subscribers. That's amazing. I really do appreciate your support. And Patreon is popping for real. I just posted this morning sharing with you a previous video about the Tesla protests and the hands-off riot paid for, funded by the left, George Soros. But more importantly, how that video at a little over 20 minutes monetized and met the monetization requirements of YouTube. Tim Walz had mentioned how essentially social media has created this idea that everyone's driving Lamborghinis and getting rich. However, as part of my message that I continue to deliver to you guys is how YouTube and social media, but primarily YouTube, which is my main focus, can do just that, or at least at the very least, put some extra money in your pocket, begin to generate passive income streams, develop a side hustle or side business, or get you out of a job that you don't like, or bring an income in if you've lost a job for whatever reason it may be. So I put that up over there. If you guys want, go over there and check it out. And I can't wait to read all your comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.